Cascade Hoops Talk, this is Billy D. Happy Tuesday, September 2nd. Hey, today we have Evan Jenkins. He's the head men's basketball coach at Life Pacific University. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Cascade Hoops Talk, produced in the shadow of the beautiful Cascade Mountains and bringing the world NAIA basketball. One podcast at a time. Hey, today we have Evan Jenkins. He's the new head men's basketball coach, Life Pacific University. They are the Warriors. Evan Jenkins has a long history in West Coast basketball, NAIA basketball. He played at the Masters. He'll talk about that. Coached at the Masters, coached up at LC State, coached under some great coaches. Really interesting story. I think you'll like his story. Our interview today is a bit longer than normal, so we're going to get right at it. Evan Jenkins, Life Pacific Basketball. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, I got Evan Jenkins on the phone. He's the head men's basketball coach, Life Pacific University. Thank you, Coach, for being on. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me and having me on.
So you're new to the Warriors, but you're certainly not new to West Coast basketball or to the NAIA. You just let's go back. People don't remember. You played at the Masters. How many years did you play at the Masters, Coach, and when was that?
I played at the Masters for 3 years, from 2014 to 2017.
Okay.
I came in when I got to the Masters University. Coaches were Coach Ken Sugarman and Life Carlberg, and then I ended my senior year playing for Coach Kelvin Starr.
So that was probably some experience. That's a great basketball program there. What were some of the things you learned as a player that you have brought with you as a coach?
Yes, for sure. So playing at the Masters, definitely a unique experience. They don't just value winning games or your development on the court, but really your development off the court and your development as a believer in Christ. Mm-hmm. And, that really permeates throughout the whole campus at the Masters University. So I'm just really appreciative of my time there as a player. It was just really refining for me and my understanding of the gospel and who Jesus Christ was, and really just gave me a love for people to want to pour into young men the same way that, different men have poured into my life.
You were over at, where was it? Santa Clarita Christian.
Yeah.
When you first started coaching, you were over to Santa Clarita. What were a couple of things you thought, oh man, I didn't know I'd be doing this stuff?
It was a grind. So right when I finished at the Masters University, I knew I wanted to get into coaching. I was doing a master's program, and I was working. I had to work multiple jobs. So I was working at a church. I was a security guard, and I was doing church setup and tear down. And then, so that was my way of just staying in Santa Clarita. I was renting a room. And then Coach Mosley, who was on staff at the Masters University, he was like a volunteer coach. He was an alumni there. He played there. Just really loves the school. And he was actually the head coach at Santa Clarita Christian School. So through him coaching me that last year and kind of us building a relationship, he wanted to bring me on as an assistant. So when I got over to SCCS, I had a number of different jobs. So I left the church and quit my jobs there. So Santa Clarita Christian School is tied into a church on their campus. So I became a church setup and tear down at their church. Okay. I became security guard at Santa Clarita Christian. I was a substitute teacher there as well, and I was a PE teacher, all at the same time.
Wow. Well, people probably watch you on the sidelines, and now you're the head coach at Life Pacific. They're probably thinking, oh, this guy just walked into this easy street. They just coach. All they have to do is go out to the gym and throw the ball out.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. It definitely has been a grind, but I've learned a lot through it.
when you were at Santa Clarita, you ended up going from there back to you had a good run there. You won the Southern section, the CIF Division 5 there, and then you went back
Yeah.
to the Masters as an assistant.
Yep.
How did that transition occur?
While I was at Santa Clarita Christian, so Coach Starr and Coach Lowry, they moved their kids because they moved up from San Diego. They were down at Foothill Christian.
Yep.
They moved up into the area, and they sent their kids to Santa Clarita Christian. And
Oh.
with me being a security guard at SECS, one of my roles was school pick up and drop off. So I would, when parents are driving up to drop off their kids for classes, I would be the one like out directing traffic and everything. And when Coach Starr would come and drop off his boys, he and we'd always get into like really long conversations. We'd be holding up the traffic line. School would start, and all the kids would be in classes, and Coach Starr and I would still be out there talking. And I think that year he also, just got a chance to just watch me help Coach Mosley, watch me in practices and workouts with his boys.
Yep.
And after the year was done, so it was actually interesting, like that year, during that first year. So Life Carlberg, who was my first, who recruited me to the Masters, he was up at LC State. During that time, that's when they had Brandon Renta and Drew Church. They were both up there, and Life was another assistant. And he had called, and he had, was like, hey, you should come up here and coach with us. And I had just told him, I thought about it, and I was like, I have so much going on down here in Southern California. I don't think the time is right. And I made the decision to stay, and I thought I was going to stay at SCCS. And then a week later, Coach Starr asked me to come over to the Masters and to help him out. And my plan was to still be involved at SCCS because I was working on a Master's in Education and a teaching credential. And I was also doing a Master's in Biblical Counseling. So Coach Starr gave me that opportunity. And a week later, I decided to come on staff and join Coach Starr.
So wow, that's an incredible journey, wasn't it? It was a real journey,
Yeah.
and you sacrificed a lot for what you believed in, for what what your target or your goal was. I think that's an incredible story. So you've had experience at obviously at Santa Clarita, but in the NAI at the Masters, one of the premier programs in the country, at LC State as well. LC State being a state school, how much different was that atmosphere working up there versus down at the Masters?
Like I said, like the Masters is a very unique place. And just being Christ-centered and gospel-centered, and then, like at a state school, that's not the focus.
Right.
But what I will say is that LC State is definitely another unique community. I don't know if how many people have gotten out to Lewiston, Idaho, but my wife and I, we were so blessed with our time in Lewiston with Coach Austin Johnson, and we really loved it up there.
Yeah, it's a nice town.
Yeah, it's a great town. It's a great town. So it's different in its focus, where Christ is at the center of everything the Masters does. LC State, they're still very, mentorship motivated, like developing young student athletes. And, some of the ways that they're similar is that, like Masters has a community that gets behind them, and Lewiston, like they have a strong community behind them. So it's a real hard hat, tough, hard working community. And I think Coach Johnson, like he really embodies that through his program, and that community gets behind those guys.
So you got the opportunity in those couple of cases to work with some really amazing coaches. I'm assuming that every coach you worked with, including those guys, you were able to glean different things from all of them. I'm just guessing that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like with Coach Starr, I learned so much working for him. Like if you've ever spoken to Coach Starr, like he's super like charismatic in his personality. He does a great job at relating with players and making people feel comfortable. And then he just like when it comes to competing, like he really turns his guys up, like they're ready to run through a wall for him. And
Yep.
We watch the Masters play and everything. They're just those dudes play super hard, like super hard. They compete, and I think that's that's a reflection of Coach Starr. And with Coach Johnson, I think like God like really blessed me by just giving me the opportunity to go up and work with him. I had never lived outside of Southern California, like at all in my life, and went up there. Coach Johnson, like he's similar in the fact that he really, really, really takes care of his players. Like he loves his players. He loves that program. His wife just so hospitable, and she's literally cooking meals for guys and
Wow.
for the team. He shows them a level of care, and then he demands like so much out of them. So that was like really an experience for me. And then also like when I got up to Lewiston, Coach Johnson, he had just finished coaching in the summer league with the San Antonio Spurs. When he came back, it was like he was so just charged up and just so excited with what he had learned from that experience. Like just throughout that year, I got to see just how talented Coach Johnson was. Like, defensively, he's a really great defensive coach, but even offensively, like his mind and his eye for the game, he's just super talented of a coach.
I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I want to get to basketball there at Life Pacific. But before I do that, how did you end up from Biola over to Life? How did that occur?
While I was here at Biola, just back in the Pac West, back and playing kind of like the same. It's D2 basketball, but a lot of, like, as we know, a lot of those schools were GSAC schools.
Exactly.
When I was playing and when I was coaching at the Masters. So, you just being back down here in Southern California, you just bump shoulders and rub shoulders with a lot of guys that you're familiar with. Going back to high school, I went to Etiwanda High School. I played for Dave Kleckner. He's now retired, but I mean, he's a legendary coach down here in Southern California. And one of my teammates for a year or two, his younger brother became the athletic director at Life Pacific. So, so that was the connection, through Etiwanda High School. And Etiwanda has produced, just an unreal amount of college players and professional players. The family is strong. The network is strong. When I got back down here to Biola, Davis Nuemi is the AD at Life Pacific. We're teammates. We're from the same program at Etiwanda. And just that connection, it's like we're like family. Tim Cook, Coach Cook, has done just a tremendous job over here at Life Pacific. And, just the fruit that he has left within the university, not even just the basketball program, but just the university. The program was just in a really healthy place when he stepped down. He's someone else, too, who Tim Cook actually helped me get to the Masters University way back when I was an athlete. I was playing at Cal State San Bernardino, and I was looking to transfer. And Coach Cook was then at San Diego Christian. He actually connected me or helped me get connected with the Masters University. So a lot of connection there. Tim Cook just was a blessing to me, and Davis Nuemi with our high school background. There was a lot of connection here at Life Pacific that made it a good fit.
So you've been the head coach there since it was announced in March. You've had you're right now you're like everybody in the country. You're trying to put your team together. As you've built this team, what have been your priorities?
Number one, been on my mind has been like Coach Holmquist would always say, when recruiting guys, is like you want guys on your team and on your roster that you don't mind being on the road with, that you don't have to worry about when you're traveling. You don't have to, you don't have to stress about them in the dorms and in campus. Then also like being at the Masters University, even with Coach Johnson, like, you get to see impact of character. Like when you have good character kids, it just makes it that much better to coach them. Now they have to be talented. But the
Exactly.
first thing for me was I just wanted high character kids. Like I've had a chance to work for three of the best coaches, I think, on the West Coast. I really just looked at what they, prioritize the most, and all those guys prioritize character and like the heart of a kid before anything else. And so that was the main thing, is trying to get good character kids. Secondly was athleticism. At all three of the coaches that I've worked for are defensive minded coaches. I know like the Masters lately, they have been, scoring 80, 85 points a game and real up tempo. Coach Starr is a real hard-nosed defensive coach. Coach Johnson, if anybody knows Coach Johnson, the way he teaches guards to get through ball screens, the way, he just holds his players accountable on that end. And then Coach Holmquist, his resume speaks for itself. So, like, athletically, I wanted guys who had foot speed and toughness, some athleticism to guard the ball and rebound the ball. That was, a priority for me. And then the last thing was just feel. I wanted to coach unselfish guys, guys who have a feel for, when to make a play for someone else, when to just get off the ball, just move the ball, get a reversal, when to cut, those types of things that, really don't show up on the stat sheet maybe, but they just have a, big impact on the flow of the game.
Yeah. What of those, you got athleticism, you got character, you got basketball IQ. Which of those three are the hardest to find?
I think character is really tough to find, especially like kids with the strong faith.
Yep.
It's just one of those things where not everybody is a Christian, not everyone is a believer. So, that narrows your pool down being at a Christian school, being at a Christian university. So I think that's one thing that's really tough to define. But once you coach long enough and you've been an assistant like I have for the past eight years, people start knowing when you're at a Christian school, like what type of kids you need. Then it's IQ. I think is the second hardest to find, because you'll see some really athletic kids out there who just do not have a feel for how to play the game. They don't have a feel for all the little things that we talked about, making an extra pass, having a clock in their head of when to get off the ball, when to move it, all those little things. So I would say those things are the toughest.
It seems like that's one of the problems that seems really difficult to overcome, is the ball sticking.
It definitely is. And like, especially when you have some talented offensive players, good defensive coach, like you got guys in the help side, you got guys in the gaps, you want to load up, and if someone's holding the ball, the ball sticking with them, it's going to make it tougher for everyone. Yeah. So, that's something that even like I noticed with Coach Johnson. So Coach Johnson, when he had Davian Brown, who is now at Montana State, when we first got up there, Davian is a dynamic offensive player.
Yes, he
is.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the things that, as a younger coach, you just think like, man, just, let him do his thing, let him go. And Coach Johnson was constantly on him about moving it, not just holding the ball and trying to, telegraph what you're going to do. And Davian became really good at just catching it and moving it, catching it and swinging it. And actually worked out better for himself. I think it's one of the reasons why he's at Montana State now, because he just has a feel for the team and the flow of the offense, as well as, being able to score for himself.
Yeah, and he's very talented too.
Yes, he is.
I've seen him hit some big shots, him and Lustig.
Yep.
As we say, you're putting your team together. Tell the fans there in San Dimas what they can expect from the Warriors. What kind of basketball team are you going to put on the court?
I would tell community around San Dimas, Pasadena, Glendora, West Covina, all these, the people who live around here, they can really expect just a passionate a passionate bunch, a group of guys that really, have a chip on their shoulders and are going to play that way. Defensively, it's going to be a defensive-minded group. Like, we're really going to pressure the ball. We're really going to make the offense, uncomfortable. We're going to try and speed you up. And then I just think offensively, you can expect a team that's really going to play with pace. The ball's going to pop offensively. It's not going to stick with one guy. It's going to move consistently and quickly. And I think people will just ultimately just be happy with just the passion that we play with and just the competitive nature of the group that we have.
It sounds as though Life Pacific basketball will be exciting, but also GSAC basketball conference you play in, some of the better basketball in the country. Regardless, fans need to get out to the gym, and everybody knows NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America. Get out there and see some of the best basketball in the country for just a song, really. Way cheaper than going to a movie or other entertainment, I can tell you that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if people pay attention to what Arizona Christian has been doing on, like, recruiting, Masters, they always put together talented teams. Hope International with Coach Check. Yep. You just have talented players, but also like really talented coaches. I think like Benedictine is that coach has been very talented, and he gets players over there. And just from top to bottom, there are some really, really, really talented players, but even better coaches. And I think, people, they're not, checking out the GSAC, then they're missing out for sure.
Definitely. Well, Coach, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you giving us a few minutes introducing yourself there to fans at Life Pacific, but also to the GSAC and the NAIA. Wish you a lot of luck as you get started here. Hope to get you back on as the season gets going.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It's been a blessing. Honestly, I just am very appreciative of what you do for NAIA basketball, for West Coast hoops, and beyond. So thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, I appreciate those kind words. That's Evan Jenkins. He's the new head men's basketball coach, Life Pacific Warriors. Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot to Evan Jenkins and to Life Pacific University, the Warriors. Appreciate that. Hey, join us tomorrow. This is Billy D, and we'll be back tomorrow with more Cascade Hoops Talk. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.